not know me? How can you not know me? Roll done, how can you not know me? Been on it since 203. My smoke's long. Look at what I done for my nick. How much man that I bun for the kid. Hold done. Man, I used to run from the kid. Made a bag of man run in their crib. Show done.
The jailhouse thing's not a joke, bro. You get me? Like, a man out there going like they about that life and they go to jails and crumble, bro. You get me? Like, I'm talking like, I've been in dispersal, blood, yeah, and you go to the library, mainstream, you get me? And like, they'll lock you in the library because man on the numbers, that's the non-swings, you get me? Vulnerable prisoner wings, you get me? Like, when man can't handle the jail, they go to those wings, you get me? Like, so when they lock you in the library, they have to walk past the library. It's a big window. They have to walk past to go to flipping, if they're going to gym or on their movements, you get me? And when I've looked, I see man that I've known to swear their butt's life walking with the vulnerable prisoners, like they're on that wing because they can't handle the jail, you get me? So that's why I say, bad, it's not for everyone. Like, when you get put in a situation like this and you go to some real life jails, man, crumble, bro, you get me? What are you doing on a VP wing with nonsense and rapists and all that, you get me? Like, it's a madness, you get me? So I see man try and hide their face and going past, you see some big hench dunnies, like big bops, as soon as they see the man, they're like, yeah, man, scuffling and hiding. These are grown dunnies, you get me? You swear about that life. And in London, and in their local jails, they're the top notch, you get me? And they go into these serious jails where man don't care, but you get me? You got man in there that don't, man in there that have got nothing to lose, bro. You get me? What you know about a man doing natural life? You know what that is, bro? Natural life. Natural life is you have no release date. Forget a man doing life or IPP with a 99 or whatever, like their license or whatever it is. Forget that. I'm talking about the judge hasn't even given you numbers. So you didn't get a 30 rec. You didn't get a 25. You didn't get a 10. The judge said, I'm locking you up for the rest of your life. That's called a natural life sentence, bro. You're done out here. There's a man in them jails that's doing them birds. Got nothing to lose, bro. So you look at them man there, you even look at them man there wrong, and they don't like it. They'll just come and chop you up, look. Chop out your neck and your face, bro, and down your dance, you get me? So you got man in there that really just don't care innit? So when man who swear about that life go to them jails, and they actually, like, it hits home like, raw, I'm in a real jail with some real man. The bitch comes up again. The skirt lifts up, you see their knickers, and all that, you get me? And then man end up on the vulnerable wings. And then they'll come home and then swear that they just done madnesses in jail, like, yo, blood, you know what jail I was in, I done this, I done that, and the fourth. But blood, you know, innit? He doesn't say to you. And what happens is, because enough man don't make it out of dispersal, enough man can go to them jails, be on the VPs, and then come home and pretend that they're about that life, because there's man that's not coming out of there. So they can't come home and tell the story, you know what I'm gonna say to you? So enough man will slide through. But obviously I'm one of the ones that made it out, innit? You get me? So I see you, I saw what it is, and we know what it is, innit? So like I said again, it's not for everyone. Jails are long. I'm not glorifying it, you get me? It's long. And like I said, man, tell you can just fix some bees, bro.
The Artist TV in association with Block 5 Entertainment, and I'm here with Brixton rapper R8 Real Artillery. Finally, first of all, big man, welcome on. Welcome on from all the real fans, the fans that see what you done for the game from day one and are still there seeing what you done now. Let's talk about freedom. What's it like? What does freedom mean to you now?
Got the crowd that these dons be running with. I set it, that fire, I was running it. They're all in the water, now I'm unplugging it. My life was a movie, too much fucking it. Want to your head back, I wanna put a slug in it. Now I'm on this music, trying to be the plug in it. Jump on the dirt with a shovel and dugging it. I was OT, like, come and put grabbing it. Now I'm on the beats, like my musk and busting it. R8's basket, must have been roughing it. Deep in the jungle, stepping and busting it. I tried to leave off the strip, stuck in it. I tried to eat off a brick, tucking it. How can you not know me? What the fuck is it? I was on this team, but the feds kept cutting it. Ice in the ring, paid 10 for the slush in it. Right in the clink, it was pen, so I fuck with it. Nights in the wing, in the pen, I was hugging it. Fights in the bin, I see gunmen ducking it. Die for this thing, it depends who you're fucking with. I was a king on my ends, I structured it. Crime was the thing on the ends, put love in it. Back to the bins, to the bends, I was up in it. Fight for this thing to the end, get touched with it.
Freedom, innit? Freedom's a big thing, innit? Like, obviously, for people that's done bird or flipping it has to be a long kind of thing. Again, like you just do a little romantic thing, it's not really gonna mean nothing. But if you did a long time, freedom means a lot, innit? You get me? Cause man's been gone for a decade. You get me? Man ain't gonna get that back. You get me? So man have to make best of this part of the freedom now. You feel me? So you know, freedom's freedom, man. But we got it. We got this.
Okay.
We out there.
Well, let us know, what did it feel like when you bust those gates after, you know, for 10 years you couldn't give us the fire that we expected from you? What was it like busting those gates and coming back to the music scene?
Yeah, obviously, busting the gates is one thing, innit? Scrap the music scene, you get me? Man's freedom makes more sense than music, you get me? Music comes after, you feel me? So coming home was just like a big kind of thing for me still, cause it's been long since I've been in, I've lost niggas on the way due to certain causes, you get me? So it's coming home, you have to just reevaluate everything differently now, you get me? It's a big difference now, it's not like how it was. It's a different order now, you get me? So, and then obviously on the music side of it now, obviously I'm here now, innit? The fire's back, let's do this, innit, you get me? There's not really a lot of authentic rappers like that out there, like man, you get me? So now I'm home with it, like, let's get cracking, you get me?
Yeah, real talk. Okay, let's get into this interview now. We're doing this interview for the real people, the people that understand your journey from the beginning. So we're going to start this at the beginning. Obviously, childhood. Like nobody has ever been able to bring the fire that you've brought to the roads. Many put fire out there, but nobody's put it in the way you've put it. What was childhood like for RA? What was he seeing out here that made him come with that fire?
Obviously, man see it all in it, from everything, bro. You get me? Don't only be too explicit on the thing, but from everything in it, from 1 to 100, man, seen it all in it. So obviously, that inspired my music in it. So
yeah,
when I'm spitting, this is what I've been through, done or seen. You know what I'm saying? So it's real life shit, like so. Yeah, so I seen it all in it. So
okay. So me personally, I know that a bag of people respect you for your music. A bag of people respect you as RA. Who did RA ever look up to? Who did you ever look up to and say, you know what, I'm feeling him or I'm feeling that and that's what I'm going to be about?
No one, really, you get me? My pattern was back home, innit? In the yard, you get me? Like, obviously, I used to be in the yard regular, you get me? So back home, my people over there that kind of, their art is set different. That's kind of more the people that man kind of look to, like, bro, okay, bam. How they pattern their thing, you get me? They got it governed right, you get me? So man can use that kind of thought process and everything else with it. And it's pattern over here, you get me? But over here, I wasn't looking up to no one. I mean, it was all love, innit? Everyone was on different pages, innit?
Yeah.
Olders, like, you get me? Like, man, I had olders like that, you know what I'm saying to you? A couple of men that's been about on the ends, but weren't looking up to no one still. I set my own order, you get me?
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the first bars that I reckon is from the roads that we knew from you. Broken Homes. Was that the first bars you spat? What was the first bars you put together?
Broken Homes, that weren't the first bars I spat, you get me? But
yeah.
That was a thing that kind of everyone kind of listened to, like, rah, man, it's tough, you get me? But obviously, man was spitting from before that, innit? From, like I said, innit? Jungle days and that.
Yeah.
Flipping, then the elevator, the garage, and wherever, you get me? So man's always had bars. But when you talk about probably like the first track man laid, then Broken Homes, you get me? That was the first track man kind of went in the studio and patterned, you get me?
Yeah. Okay, so with regards to Broken Homes, what did that mean to you yourself?
Exactly what it stands for. Broken Homes, bro. That's where man come from. There weren't no gold spoon. There weren't even a silver spoon. The spoon was plastic on one side, you get me?
Yeah.
So like, obviously man came from that filth, you get me? So it was all broken. This is how we're living. This is how we're getting it, you get me?
Okay, so when that hit the roads, and obviously you started getting feedback, it was going on people's Nokias. They was listening to that on the bus, on the roads when they were their boys. What did you feel when you started getting the feedback to now listen, the roads are feeling you?
Yeah, that kind of gives you that more like oomph in it. But really, man weren't knee deep in the music thing like that then. Man was just doing it for the sport, you get me? Like, man's got spare time, man was just patting a tune, you get me? But obviously, man was really out there them time there as well, you get me? Like, real field marshal shit, you get me? But when you hear man say, raw, you know, yeah, that tune, it's like, okay, man's feeling my wave, you get me? So, obviously it felt good in that way, you get me? But it didn't really mean shit at that stage. You know what I'm coming from?
Yeah. So let's get on to the tracks that come out after that and the freestyles. The road started going nuts. You was getting bigger and bigger. The roads were classing you as the hardest. Freestyles were dropping everywhere. What was you feeling now? How was it coming to you that everybody's listening to RA? Any ends?
What time though? What time are you talking?
Just before like all of it started, the old threes, the old 4 eras, when it was really buzzing with the new shit.
Yeah, obviously then, like I said to you again, innit, then man was knee deep again, innit? So man was occupied differently, bro. So the music wasn't really, you get me? Man was doing that again for the sport. Man was like really saying, "Rah, man's gonna take this serious and make money out of it," you get me?
Yeah.
Because a lot of shit was going on then, you get me? So you still had that oomph in it, like, "Rah, man, listen to your shit," but then again, like, this is what we're doing out there, you get me?
Yeah. Okay, well, like I've said, people regarded you as the hardest, regardless. But obviously, opinions vary. So there's other people out here now that some people might class as the hardest.
Yeah.
You got people like Den. You got Smiley. You got Shaq Coulion. You got Snap Capone. You got Big Chess, Young Spray. You got Stormzy. You got Tiny Boost, Scraps. All these from different areas or some from your area that people class as the hardest. Who is harder than RA?
No one. I'm the hardest, innit, regardless, bro. That slogan started with man, innit, you get me? So, flipping RA, innit? Like, I'm always gonna see myself as the hardest, like, you get me? I don't know everyone's catalogue, you get what I'm saying? But I know my catalogue, you get me?
Yeah.
My shit's clean, so what I'm giving you is fire. What I'm saying is fire, and it's the real deal. So I see myself as the hardest regardless.
Okay, so let's take you out the equation. Who does RA see as a hard rapper?
A hard rapper? Hard rapper or...
Yeah, a hard rapper. And when I say hard, I'm not talking about someone who can spit the roads. I'm talking about the way they spit it. The aggression, the feeling. When we know that they really mean it.
Yeah, see, this is like a hard rapper.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna say I reckon a hard rapper, obviously, without being biased, obviously, then obviously, you get me? He's hard, isn't it? He's got that fire still, you get me? And really, when you talk about aggression, because you're not talking about he's a good rapper, you're talking about hard, innit? So when you say hard, yeah, obviously I'll just give it to man and call it quits, innit?
Yeah.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Let's take hard out of the equation and let's talk about rappers here and internationally. Who to RA is a good rapper?
I would say internationally, who man listen to, you get me? Man listen to Meek, you get me? I like Meek. A good wave still. AR Ab. And yeah, that's it really still.
Yeah. Okay, well we've covered about the fact that before you went gel, you gave the roads one big buzz with the freestyles and tracks you put out. Now let's get into someone who was on a couple of them tracks with you and also gave the world the roads a buzz. Mr. Temptastic, Temp Man. What do you feel now about the fire you and him gave to the streets and the way things have gone for him?
Yeah, obviously, Temp Man, obviously that was little bro in it, so everything was authentic, you get me?
Yeah.
From back then, it wasn't just like, raw music, let's link up in the booth, like, used to be good, man, and we used to do certain things, you know what I'm saying? So, our pain was always that real shit, that real pain, you feel me? So, yeah, that was straight fire, obviously. And how I feel about it now, like, obviously,
Yeah,
that's growing, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, what's going on with him now, obviously, we'll have to kind of just lead down to really what's going on with him, innit? But
Yeah.
obviously, good people, you know?
What do you think the chances are that we ever see you two on a track together again?
Yeah, that could happen, of course. Donnie comes out and patterns right, we can do that all day, innit? Because it's Brixton homegrown, innit? You get me? So,
Yeah.
There you go. It's not.
When you look back though, what do you really feel about you and him and what you did to the game? Because let's not get it twisted, in that era, the two of you were fire.
Yeah, man messed up the game still. And man had them tunes that was hard as well, you get me? Like, and we got bags of tunes. There's all tunes out there that man ain't even heard, me and Tent, man. People ain't even heard it, you get me? So
Who's got those? Fraz on the system, you get me? We need those.
yeah, I don't know if Fraz has got them though, but yeah, they're definitely out there though. They're
Yeah.
out there, but there's tunes that I know that ain't been put out that me and Tastic stand, you get me?
Yeah.
So we always effed up the game, man. It was a laugh, you get me? So
Yeah, big up Temptastic, PDC Spitter, one of the best.
yeah.
Okay, about 13 years ago, I stood in front of you and I asked you, in the music game, who was you feeling? Back then you said obviously my team. Then internationally, it was Styles P, Uncle Murder, and then you went over to Portmore Empire and Movado. What if I say to you now the same question? Who do you feel?
Still my team. What's left of it, you get me? Flipping. Obviously, there's no more Portmore Empire, you get me? It's a Gaza thing. And obviously, and certain hard dancehall artists, you get me? Like, that's who man still pattern, you get me? And obviously, man not listen to Uncle Murder no more still, you get me? But man still play ball with flipping Meek and flipping ARs and a couple of other Donnies, you get me? So
Okay.
Still that kind of same wave still.
Yeah. So before RA went to prison, he was a member of the Spitters Roadside G's. How did Roadside G's come together? And what made you want in on it?
Well, obviously, Roadside it's a blood thing, innit, fam? That's from the jump, innit? Like, you get me? It was the man them on the ends, the man who's older than man, whatever. Then you had the other side, that the man that's on the strip, Red Tape. And it's like, I kind of just patterned in it, like, from me being on the road.
Yeah.
My team, and then obviously the man them. When I was ready to spit, I spat in it. And then the man was like, yo, you can spit, you didn't even know something, man. You get me? Because man was too occupied in the dungeons, you get me? And then man was just like, yo, flow, you get me? Kind of thing. So it was just normal, but really, man was artists anyway. But we just weren't spitters.
Yeah.
We were behind the scenes, you get what I'm trying to say to you? So it was a normal thing, it was authentic. It wasn't like, yo, initiate my man, or yeah, you want to be, you know what I'm saying to you? Nah, it was from the bone, innit?
Okay. So I'm going to ask you, is RA still a Roadside G? Spitter?
No.
No?
No. Obviously, who knows. We don't know knows, innit? Obviously, certain complications, whatever. And still, like I said, it's the bloodline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not part of Roadside G's.
So will we never again see a track with the whole squad on?
No.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Let's clear up what the roadside was back then. Because obviously the roads were going nuts. Roadside had the road music covered. Everyone was talented. Freestyles everywhere. Big tracks. Don't come down to the roadside. Get that dough. One step closer. Money in the bank. Gangster from me born. It's just the roads, to name some. Every spitter at this time, they was above their time. People would say, obviously, they had the game mapped 10 years in advance. What do you really feel now when you think of how you did have the game back then? And still to this day, certain spitters can't spit what you were spitting back then.
Obviously, it was just normal, innit, bro? Like, all them tunes, obviously, we were patterning it. Like, people were hanging, they just know what time it was, innit? Like, that's them, man. That's really them, man, innit? Like, you know what I'm saying to you, couldn't doubt man's thing at all. So, I know even the ops had to listen to man's thing, you get me? Because it was just out there, like, that's real shit, you know what I'm saying to you? So, them times that we had it patterned, innit? And then, obviously, when it went left, innit?
Yeah. So for those of us that don't know, why do you think that the roadside never busted in the industry?
Obviously, we were underground, innit? And And obviously, like they were saying, yard, it was like they had the man on an I am balloon thing, you get me? Like, man can't bust, you get me? But people are feeling, man. Man's patterning, man. Man's listening to man things. But obviously, it was a thing where if Jakes was on, man, he got on to say to you, and it just kind of just went into a way where like this got too stupid in it because man was mixing in the roads and the music too much, too deep, you get me?
Yeah.
So it was just getting sticky, bro, you get me? Without even talking certain things, it was getting mad. So obviously the Jakes just shut man down, innit, you get me?
Yeah.
That's why we never got to where we were supposed to get to, you feel me?
Yeah. But when you started hitting with tunes like Don't Come Down to the Roadside with Tower T, and it was on Channel U, it was going to a different level. Was there anything inside you that must have thought, now it's coming, no matter what, it's coming?
Yeah, of course, I thought it was coming, 100, because obviously it went on bass them time there when things used to go on MTV bass, where it was coming in it because it was in the charts and bass, you get me? And I thought, yo, obviously people recognizing the thing, you get me? Then it just got took down the last charts, bro. Like one day it was like number 2 or something, and then the next time it's just not in the charts full stop. So I was thinking, what, you get me? And then obviously behind the scenes again, you get me? It was getting blackballed, you get me?
Yeah.
So it was kind of just all went wrong from there, you get me?
So what do you think now when you see artists that are in the door and you look at their catalogue and their catalogue's weak, your catalogue was strong? What do you feel about the way artists are going through the door now with just anything? 1 and 2 hits, and they're nice.
Yeah, they're nice, but obviously what works for some people won't work for a man, innit? And won't work for others, you get me? So for the man that's getting you like that, then hats off, innit? Like, right, I can't hate on you. You get me?
Yeah.
Like, you're from the roads and you're trying to pattern music and that, and you get you with one tune. Then it's like, congrats, you get me? Because man has been trying to get you how many years ago, and it's a madness, you get me? So you get you with a certain tune, and I feel they're paying that official, you get me? Why not?
Yeah.
Middle finger up to the government, isn't it? Obviously.
Well, this is it. Okay, well obviously we've got it covered. The game did Roadside dirty. I sometimes think though, if the industry was to let more of these real dons through, you know, the ones that have gone through pain and are now spitting fire, maybe they'd be able to keep the roads a lot safer. What do you think to that? Instead of letting through the ones that ain't never done nothing what they're talking.
Yeah, obviously it could be, but I feel like the ones that ain't done shit, but when they got you, then obviously they won in it. After the acting, you get me? They're acting and passed the test in it.
Yeah.
The real dummies obviously always kind of half struggle to cut through, you get me? But we'll make it there, you get me? But I don't know if we could change it. Even if real niggas are up on the, you get me? I think we could change like the levels of like bringing through more real artists.
Yeah.
And change the levels of more real shit being played.
Yeah.
You get me? But to change how the roads are, it's a total different thing. Bro.
Yeah, but I'm thinking in the way that if somebody who's real is in there making that industry money, they don't need to do no fuckeries on the road. Because they're getting nice money.
Yeah, that way,
Yeah.
That's what the man is doing it for, innit?
Yeah.
The man is trying to strive so man can get like legit bread, innit?
Yeah.
And come off the roads fully, innit? All day, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's talk now about some of the things the roads want from RA. They wanted them before you went jail. They wanted them while you was in jail. And they definitely want them now. Let's start with the first one. You and Den. You know Den, he's got a little track out there. My Life. This Life, sorry. It's alright. We've heard it. It's alright.
Yeah.
The roads want to know, you and him, are we ever going to see a track and a visual from the pair of you?
How it goes now, how it stands now, then obviously knowing it, you get me?
Yeah.
Because there's certain complications, you get me? But if certain things could get uplifted, then why not? That's growing it.
Yeah.
Pattern, you get me?
Okay, let's step over to another hard rapper from the roads of Brixton. In fact, there was a time when he was the hardest rapper on road and you was the hardest grime star on road. Gangster grime, I should say. Shaq Coleon. In the whole of the time he was spitting and you was spitting before you went jail, we've only ever seen him on It's Just the Roads with you. We've never seen the pair of you on a track together. Why was that?
Obviously, probably just timings, isn't it? Like sometimes he might be in jail.
Yeah.
Next time I might be in jail. And then obviously other shit's going on, innit? Before I went jail, like the man were fully occupied with a lot of things, you know what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So even though like the man's man, it's not every time that man's always thinking like, yo, come get in the booth to a track where, because man ain't taking it that serious at that stage, you know what I'm saying to you? Now, man's taking music serious, innit? So you want to pattern certain things and cut through, you get me? But that times they're not taking music serious like that, bro. So it's just like, it is what it is, you get me? And then it just never happened out of something authentic, though.
Yeah.
Not out of like, raw. How come you don't never, this never happened, did it?
Yeah.
There were like no issues between us. Shit, this never happened, you get me?
Yeah. So obviously, while you was in jail, Shaq Coolio released the freestyle. The pound cake was going nuts on road.
Yeah.
Obviously, Shaq put his first to it. Fire, as always. When was the first you heard of it, and what did you think when you heard it? Because obviously he called it 5.RA.
Yeah, obviously I spoke to bro when all these pound cakes were coming out. There, people eating pound cakes, but they're shit, bro. You get me? I'm thinking, bro, this is whack. And so I'm speaking to bro, saying, bro, like, how come you ain't patted a pound cake yet? You get me? Show these brothers how to do this thing. And he's like, raw, for real, man. So like, obviously I kind of said to him to pattern, innit? So when he's patterned it now, he patterned it. That's why he just called it 5.RA, innit? Because I kind of made him do it, innit? You get me? He weren't really feeling it. But I just broke it down to him, yo, mate, these niggas know what time it is, you get me? So then he just patterned it still.
Okay, so we want to ask you now, obviously Shaq's where he's at, you're here. Do you think we will ever get that track with the two of you on it?
I don't know. Obviously, complications again, innit?
Yeah.
That's bigger than us, you know what I'm saying to you. But like I said, if certain things get uplifted and man could pattern, then you never know.
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to before you left us. Obviously, you done 10. Before you left us, you birthed a new era. RA, Block 5 spitters. Fire. Everyone on the block had fire. Obviously, life's gone its way. 3 of the best to ever do it from that block. DRs, S West, and Riots. What did you think yourself of their fire all coming up under what you given the roles?
Yeah, obviously anyone under my wing is always going to be about that, if it's music or the other side of things, you get me? If you're under man's wing, you know what time it is, you get me? So they were under man's wing before the music, you get me? So when they started spitting now, like I just co-sign it all day, innit? Like, right, that's little bros, obviously, of course, everything they're saying is a real deal, co-sign it all day, you get me? So they had that fire. And the man still got fire, you get me? That's why it's mad. So it's a loss of talent, you get me? But yeah, come on, I'll co-sign that all day.
Okay, so let's get on to the fact that Block 5 and all these spitters and all the realness that come from it was torn apart by snitching. How does it feel to you knowing that the Block 5 is not the Block 5 that you went in jail and left us?
Obviously it breaks your heart, innit? Any form of snitching breaks your heart, you get me? So obviously, certain man's not here, you get me? It's a joke thing. And I come out to like what was left of it, you get me? But there's still real brothers out there, you get me? Obviously through the bros standardly, you get me? But obviously it's got a heartache when certain things happen, you get me? So, joke thing still, you get me?
Okay, so as we sit here now, is there still a Block 5 for spitters? Is Block 5 spitters still alive and kicking?
Obviously, 5 spitters. I'm a 5 spitter, innit? That's what I birthed, innit? It's my bloodline, innit? You get me? So I'm a 5 spitter, you get me? But and you got, to be honest, you got a couple of other men coming up still. A couple other little young dogs coming up in the ranks still, so you soon hear from certain men, you get me? But once you see me co-sign it, you know that it's official, you get me?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's get into you sitting in jail. Now I know for a fact before you went jail, man wanted to be RA. Man wanted to spit with RA. Man wanted to call out RA's name if he was there or not. Regardless, they wanted to make people think they knew him. You're sitting in jail. Was everybody around you that knew your name, that talked to you, that wanted to walk with you? Was they all keeping it as real as possible for the 10 years that you sat in a cage?
Hell no. That's just 100 of it. Hell no, bro. You get me? And it's mad car. My real bros, obviously there's a couple out there, and there's a couple in the can. And the man in the can always kept it 100, you get me? And a couple man out there kept it 100, you get me? But obviously, like you know how the saying goes, bro. You know who your real friends are when you go to the jailhouse, innit, you get me? And obviously you see what I want, innit? You see what's really good, like, bro, who's really good, you get me? Certain man that's had you in your face, innit? Because you're out there, innit? When you're in the can now, you see who's really got you, who will go above and beyond, you get me? So, yeah, so it definitely everyone never had none to that degree, but that's why now I'm out, they want to be around and they can't be around, man, you get me? Or I deal with you a certain way, you get me?
Yeah.
And I don't understand why I was doing that, you get me? So, it is what it is, doing it, it's a lesson to learn, innit, you get me?
Yeah. But how does it feel to you in your heart when you know that it's like now you're back, people want to fly up on you again, and really like that's just dead?
Yeah, it's what it is, don't it? Bitches are always a big bitches, you get me? Bitch dunnies are always a big bitch dunnies, so you can't even help that. So I just deal with it when it comes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
You started this thing as one of the realest the roads I've ever seen. What's real to RA right now?
Family, innit? That's it, innit? That's what's real, family, innit?
Yeah.
Because that's all you can kind of really pre and kind of know what's really good with, innit? Everything else is an illusion, innit? You get me? So that's what's real to my family story, you get me?
Obviously, we've sorted out the fact that you've got stipulations on you, but still there's certain names people want to hear me ask you about, even if you give the same answer. Obviously, we've covered Block 5 spitters, but DR's is a Block 5 and a roadside G spitter, and he's one of the best the game ever seen from the underground. Do you think that we're ever going to see you and him on a track again? Because word is that he's soon on.
I would love for that to happen. That's bro, innit? You got to say to you. Like, I would love for that to happen, but the reality of it is I don't think that's going to happen again.
Nah.
Because of the complications again. So, one of them ones, just got to do with it, innit?
Yeah. Okay, let's get into this rap and grime game right now. It's fuckeries. There's a lot of people in it that are snitches, fruity people, people whose word means nothing, people who will sell out their day ones to make it. How is RA going to keep it as real as he did before he went in jail, being around these people?
I just be me in it, blood. Like me, that's me in it. Throughout, blood. I'm 100 thorough, bro. You know what I mean? I don't need to change up my thing. I'm just me in it, blood. You know what I'm saying to you? I'm still the same. I was just more bigger and wiser. You get me?
Yeah.
So I don't need to adapt to no man's thing. You get me? I'll just be me, bam, and it's gonna be the same art all the way through. You get me? Simple.
Okay, coming on 12 years ago, the roads wanted RA to bust. They wanted him going through the door. Regardless, the music game was yours. The system didn't want that. So they put RA in jail and they gave him 10 years and IPP and labelled him a menace to society. Tell us what it's like sitting in a cage, having no release date and being labelled a menace.
Obviously, being labelled a menace is what it is, isn't it? But they've been labelling me a menace from when I was a kid, you get me? So it is what it is, isn't it? That ain't nothing new. Sitting in the can over like for 10 years is a joke thing, bro, you get me? It's definitely not a glorifiable thing, you get me? Because you know enough of these man big up the can. When I spit, I might say things about the jailhouse and that, but it's just like, that's where 10 years of my shit's been, you get me? So I just say certain things, kind of just let you know where I'm coming from, but it's never a glorified thing, you get me?
Yeah.
These man glorify it like it's something big, and the man that's glorifying it, a straight bitch as well, you get me? Because they'll go jail and it'll be peak for them, you know what I'm saying to you? So, me sitting in there for over 10 years, it was a joke thing still, you get me? Jail's a waste man game, you know what I'm saying to you? You get things.
Okay, well let's get on to the fact you've lost 10 years of your music career. And when we say this, for the people that don't know the history, You're not your average spitter who might have lost 10 years when he was on the come up. You went into jail at the top of your game. Can anything really make up for that now?
Obviously, you can never get 10 years back. You get me? It's a big time, it's a big gap. You get me? That's 10 birthdays. It's all I'm from. So, but obviously, I can definitely make it up, like in a way where I'll just come out and let's give you the fire, innit? Let's just make it work now. Now I've got fire, I'll just get paid off this thing, innit? That's the only thing I can do, you get me? But I'll never get the time back. Never.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get on to the fact that you've sat in that dispersal after dispersal. None of these local prisons, real prisons where everybody's on real shit. Tell the youths out here what dispersal prisons are like, because obviously some of them think they're built for what you've done, what you've been through in 10 years. They need to know what it's really like in real prison.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, innit, you got a man who spit every minute. They're talking about jail, this, that, and they only been Thameside or Wandsworth or remand jail, you get me? That ain't jail, you get me? Because you're on your ends with your dogs. It's not the kind, you get me? But when you go up north now and go to real sentence jails, double A cats, B cats, training B cats, then you know the real shit, you get me? Because you meet real dunnies from every city, you know what I'm trying to say to you? It's not just LO, you get me? And obviously, man don't give a fuck about who your name was in London, you know what I'm trying to say to you? Because these dunnies are from flipping Quay out, you know what I'm saying to you? Like they're bad boys in their ends. So they're not hearing no shit, they're on the joints as well, you feel me? So I've seen a lot of men get smacked up like official dunnies who swear about their life get rubbed out in the can because they thought that their name and the ends will hold weight. But when you go to them jails there, what you do in them jails, that secures your card, you get me? Not what you've done before. So you have to go to them jails and do your dirt, put in your work, and then that's the case in it. But that's not even a glorified thing. Don't get it twisted. I'm not even trying to say go jail and put in work. It's long, jails long. But I'm saying when you go to them jails there, be on joints, you get me? And your thoroughness will get you through, you get me? But a lot of man's skirt gets lifted in them jails because you weren't really thorough, you get me?
Yeah.
It's all an act. But now you're in a jail with bare real man, you can't hold up that facade for so long. So man has pulled your skirt and done your dance, you get me? So a lot of men don't even make it in them jails, bro. And for the youth, them it's long. Because man dead in them jails, you get me? Man actually use their life in them jails. Not an odd little fight, a man gets cut and they're not in them jails, and man actually use their life and they're dead. So you have to be thorough to go to them jails.
Yeah. What's the worst thing you ever see happen to anyone in front of your eyes?
Obviously, there's numerous pokings, isn't it? And
yeah.
Like, man, see man drop out, you can.
Yeah.
Say to you, like, I've seen man drop out, like, literally, like, see you later, you get me?
Yeah.
White sheet, you know the one there. So, that's the, you can't get no worse than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying to you? So, man, really see it, you get me? And then, it's not a game, bro, trust me. Because that can happen, you can get poked up. And man, I know these little young bucks know about hot water and flipping sugar.
Yeah.
But in them jails there, you got ghee, you get me? And that's like a tub of butter boiling for like 2 hours, bro. You know how hot that is, bro, you get me? And I see man get like a whole Dutch pot of that, like one on the top of their head, fam. Like their whole face is gone. You know what I'm gonna say? That's like acid, bro. You know what I'm gonna say to you? So like you lose your features and that, you get me? That's kind of worse than you're getting poked up. Poked up, you might can make a recovery, you get me?
Yeah.
So we know about man losing their whole face, bro. I see man use their whole face and don't look the same. And their kids walk past them on the road. They didn't even know that was them. That's real shit, you get me? So yeah, obviously it's not a game, but it's not a place for man to go still.
So say I'm out here now. I've put in a bag of work on road. I'm nice with a gun, nice with a knife, but I can't hold my hands up. I ain't got no fight in me. I know I'm going dispersal now because obviously the feds are all over me. I'm going dispersal. What's it going to be like for me in there?
Well, obviously, like you said, innit, if you swear about that life, you're going to have that. You're going to have people that's going to want to get at you for certain reasons or whatever, innit. But like I said, innit, you're good with the machine. If you can't throw them fists or do your thing physical, you're going to get popped down, you get me? You get me? Even though, obviously, if you're good with the hawk as well, you can still cut through, you get me? But a lot of men, I've seen big, like, official shooters get knocked out, you get me? Like, cold, like, bam, on the floor, you get me? Joke, you know what I'm saying to you? So, you just got to be able to handle yourself like in every way, you get me?
Yeah.
So you see man's all rounder, but you get me?
What you saying? Couple of them shooters copped out,
Yeah,
boy.
they cop out, but I've seen it, you get me? But with me, man's an all rounder. Like,
Yeah.
so man can hold their own in any situation, you get me?
So let me ask you. Obviously, we've said it. Your name was known. You're official. People know you. Did anyone ever try to test RA in jail because of his name?
Man ain't try to test me because of my name. You get me? Because man who know me know what time it is, you get me? But obviously you have man from different ends might kind of get out of their place and just mash them up, innit? Simple. You just, you have to just show man what time it is, innit? You just do your thing and make man know it. And then he'll tell a friend, innit? And then they'll tell a friend they know what time it is. You got to the 80. So you always got to hold your own, innit?
Yeah.
That's standard.
So what's the biggest lesson you ever learned from sitting in those jail cells? All them jails you was in for 10 years. What's the biggest lesson you come out of there learning?
Biggest lesson, never go back to jail, innit? Like, it's a lesson to never want to go back, bro. You get me? It's a joke to me. Jail's long. It's dead. Man's up there, just nothing but a man in your face every minute, blood. You get me? Man's eating rascal, some real government news, you get me?
Yeah.
Government food. It's a joke to me, bro. You get me? Like, you not want to go back to jail. It's a waste, man. So that's the hard lesson, and like, right, know what you're doing out there. Not put yourself in a position that's going to jail you off, you get me?
Yeah.
Christ alone.
Okay, let's get into the music side of things. A lot of people, I hear them doing interviews and they talk about how in the jail cells, the real criminals are listening to their music. It's them making people get through their sentences. You've sat in some of the worst jails in the country. I'm going to ask you, what are them real killers, real gunmen, real knife men, real bad men? What are they listening to in them jail cells?
They listen to everything, innit? It varies, innit? Like, for man to say, right, they just listen to, like, real dummies just listen to hard music. It would be a lie, bro. I was in a jail where, bro, he's doing double life, double M, and he's really about that life, you get me? Like, don't even listen to Michael Jackson, bro. Peak. Real life. Man's listening to Michael Jackson, bro. And this is a real done. But you don't want to hear no shit, you get me? You don't want to hear no rappers rapping shit. Like, man is listening to Michael Jackson, man. Sitting there listening to Michael Jackson, and these are certified Donnies, and there's man that can vouch as well, like, raw. You get me? Like, Donnie used to blast it out his Ross class set as well, you get me? And he's by that life. And he's doing a double M. And he's got his belts heavy, you get me? And there's enough man in there as well that's got heavy belts, you get me? And they just listen to like, man will listen to Ross Clark, Beyonce and that. Man will listen to a soul thing, it's calm, mellow. Man don't want to hear no rap or no rap, you get me? So, when you hear man talk about, yeah, only real niggas in the can listen to real hard music, it's bullshit, bro. It varies, man, listen to what they want to listen to, bro. But that still don't take the fact away from them that they about that life.
Yeah.
But they want to listen to that type of music, you get me? Bullshit.
Okay, let's get into the fact while you was in jail, RA become Muslim. Let's talk about the fact that RA turned to the Quran. What made that happen? What was your scenes in there?
Obviously, you weren't even out to be scenes. Obviously, it was just questions that couldn't be answered out here. That could be answered in there, you get me? So, obviously, I'm a man who kind of pre-certain things in it, so all my answers got answered, all my questions got answered. And it made sense to me with a whole load of other things, you get me? It just kind of not even kind of makes sense to the and I felt it in my heart, you get me? And that was it. I feel it in my heart, extra hard, that's a done deal, you get me?
Yeah. And how serious do you take your religion now you're out?
Yeah, of course, it's straight serious, isn't it? Anyone that don't say they don't take the religious serious ain't serious at all, then, isn't it? You get me?
Yeah.
If you're saying that you're something, you get me? I definitely take my thing serious. Obviously, everyone's got glitches, you get me? Everyone's got glitches that you need to pattern up, you get me?
Yeah.
So obviously I've definitely taken my thing serious. And when the time comes for me to kind of pattern up rightfully right, then the time will come, you get me? But I'm taking it one step at a time. And, you know, inshallah, get to the right place, you get me?
Yeah. Let me ask you, has prison changed RA in any way? What is the man now sitting before me to what the man was that went into them gates?
I'm the same done, innit? I'm still RA, you get me? But obviously, it's like, now, man's older and wiser, innit? That's what can happen, innit? You get me? Older and wiser and smart. Like, man ain't gonna do certain things that man used to do 12 years ago, you get me?
Yeah.
Man know, innit, certain things now. We've been through a lot now. So we know, like, right, where we're going with this, you get me? So, man's definitely just more wiser and kind of just more on point now, you get me? So, still ours, but it's bigger and wiser now, you get me?
Yeah. Okay, so when RA went through them doors, he was a gangster grime artist. He's come out the doors and he's a rapper, fully fledged. What's going on with that? What made you change up?
Yeah, let me kind of put that there. I'm not a rapper. I'm an artist, you get me? So obviously, I can enjoy anything, you get me?
Yeah.
So I can spit grime, I can spit rap, I can spit drill, I can spit whatever, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? It's 80. So, I can always pattern it how I pattern it. But in the jailhouse, no one ain't spitting like a million miles an hour grime, like everyone's laid back rap thing, you get me? So obviously, when I pattern the rap bars, like it went hard, that's man's thing. And then obviously, I come out and I can be versatile now. So I just got it all in the bag, you get me?
Yeah.
I want to take it back to the jungle, we can do that as well, you get me? I don't want it.
Okay. Let's get back into what some of the fans are seeing and what they're saying. Obviously, you've come out and we're hearing real authentic.
Yeah.
What exactly is real authentic and what is going on with that?
Obviously, real authentic to me, that's standard, innit? That's RA. Real artillery is me as well, innit? Real authentic, but we're just more authentic with it now.
Yeah.
So.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
But what is going on with that? Because let's get it straight from the felony video up until now. I've seen people asking, like, where is the stock? Where is it?
Oh, you're talking about clothing?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
Yeah, the drill cloth and that. Yeah, we're patterning it, innit? Obviously, certain things come before that, though, innit?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get certain things in line first before we kind of say, yeah, like we're doing this line, clothing line. But that's definitely on the table.
Yeah.
And people will be able to get that real soon with a pattern, though.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to Felon. Obviously, the first release from RA after he come through the gates.
Yeah.
How did that feel for you when that went up on Link Up and you started getting the fans giving their comebacks on what they think and people was glad that you're home? You start getting the buzz of knowing that people want what you left. How did that feel to you, that first release?
Yeah, obviously, it was just like, you know what it is though, bro? I'm not like one of them I'm a man that is what it is kind of with me, you get me? Like, shit is what it is, and I'm not gonna burst my bubble, cause I never got that much views. Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Man, just patting and chewing it. Like, obviously, I'm a thoroughbred done, and I'm just giving you real music in it.
Yeah, but real fans watching it, that's the truth. So with regards to all this shit about the people that think they're getting millions of views, it's real authentic fans that watch RA.
Yeah, so it was good to see that raw people still know the thing again, because a lot of times gone past again. Like, Manny was that age, Manny was a certain age now, flipping, it's 10 years on now, you know where I'm coming from, so it's good to see man still about, and still certain man who's young as well, kind of know about it, the thing as well, you get me? So, of course, it's good to see that, why not?
Yeah. Okay, let's get back to your style. Your style is hard. This era isn't. Some say RA is too hard to bust, too hard to get through the door. What do you say to that?
You can't be too hard to bust, innit? You get me? Because there's man out there talking the most smoke and they're going through the door, innit? You get me? So, can't be too hard. It's just like raw. It's just a timing thing with man, innit? It's just like raw. How long is it gonna take? You get me? So hopefully this happens quick, innit? For whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a done deal. You feel like I'm for and pack up. You get me?
Okay, so let me ask you: has RA got any tunes in there for the ladies? Can RA spit for the girl then?
Honestly, of course, man can spit for the girl, and that's standard, innit? But obviously, you know my thing. My thing was just a war profile thing, innit? That was just man's thing, innit? So that's why it's always just suspicious bars again me. But yeah, of course, we can spit for the girl. And all day, I told you, like, once I get the right girl on the hook or a right dunny that can pattern the hook, we do that all day. And obviously, if you listen to Frass's tune, My Rider, obviously, man's on there, man's giving you a little wave as well, you get me? So obviously, of course, we can pattern all day.
Okay, let me ask you about counting blessings. Because obviously, you've done a long time in jail. But there's a lot of rappers and there's a lot of roadmen that do a lot of time in jail. And when they come out, they're classed as wastemen. But RA's name still rings bells. People still want to hear the fire. They want to see you do good. Do you count your blessings through all you've been through and the sitting it out for so long that you are who you are?
Yeah, but more time that probably just comes with being a thoroughbred, innit? When you're a thoroughbred, what can man take from you, bro? You got to the same.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you're not a thoroughbred and you got glitches in your thing, man could take certain things from you, innit? And then can label you a waste man or this, that, and forth. You get me? But you can't call me a waste man. What? How am I a waste man? There's nothing there. You get me? My shit's clean, man. You know what I'm saying to you? So man, come out. I went to a thoroughbred and came out thorough. You get me? So now I'm out. It's just like, well, obviously he's home. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, let's get this ball rolling now, innit? But you can't.
Yeah.
So of course you count your blessings, innit?
Yeah.
You count your blessings in a way, because obviously it's the big man that makes you be here, innit? The standard, innit? In that kind of light. But away from that, man was thorough. So man's gonna come out thorough.
Yeah.
Point blank. You get me?
Okay, you went into prison spitting gangster grime. Anyone who listened to your gangster grime know it had a style about it. You've come out now. There's drill music. Sticks from 150 says he birthed it. Scribs from 6'7" says there'd be no drill without him. Others will say forget all that. Obviously you got Chicago. It was birthed there, the name they say, in 2010. But others will say forget all that. RA was spitting that style from 203. What do you say to that?
Yeah, of course. Man was spitting that from Quayback. You get me? That style. But obviously it's not that name, innit?
Yeah.
Like I said before, man was drilling before the name even kind of came about. You got to say to you. But if they want that title to say, right, they birth drill, then have it, innit? It's not to me, it'll be down to me, but you get me? Like, obviously, man know what I put into this game. Man know what real rappers know, like, obviously, what they took from my thing. You know what I'm gonna say to you? But if you want to say, right, I birthed this, I birthed it, innit? But real Dunnies know what it is, innit? Like,
Yeah.
Music shows, innit? From Quayback, like you said, innit? You get me?
Okay, let's get on to RA coming out of prison and the first collabo he done. Obviously, the first collabo you've put on the road is you, Krept, and Conan. Obviously, big up Krept for making that happen. But let's get into Conan. The roads have labelled Conan a snitch. Obviously, we don't know what Conan is. But Conan's had many interviews when he could have cleaned up what he is and what he isn't. Obviously, some bitch boys won't ask him what people want to know. But he's had them interviews. Right now, there's a man sitting in jail doing 30 years for a crime that he says he never committed. He's talked to me. My man wants to show me papers to prove that it's not him and someone snitched on him called Conan. Obviously, RA's thorough. The roads know you're thorough. What made you do a tune with Conan in it?
Obviously, me and Krept was patterning something, innit? Obviously, it's two things, innit? Krept and Conan, so they come, innit? You get me? Standard. And we patterned, innit? Like, when we done the tune, innit? Obviously, like I said, innit? People say things, people talk. Man, once man see paperwork, you get me? Then we can crack on, innit? But obviously, I ain't seen no paperwork with nothing or certain things, you get me? So, that's what it is, innit? Man can label a man this, that, and the fourth all day, innit?
Yeah.
There's no full-on evidence that that's what's happening. Man can't go off a word of mouth, innit?
Yeah.
So if man put evidence in front of me, bam, okay, say no more, you get me? But just off a word of mouth, because then if that was the case, you'd have to break down nearly the whole industry, bro.
Yeah.
Because people got dirt on their name about beer shit, you get me?
Yeah.
But obviously evidence has to come in front of me for me to say, right, cool. It's a done deal, you get me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't.
Yeah, the way you ended that question is a good way because that goes into my next question. You're RA. Everything's real. Anyone who's been there from the beginning knows that. So a lot of fans are unhappy when they see RA in a picture, in a footage, with anything, with some Don who's got anything on his name. Obviously, we don't know if it's real, we don't know if it's not. But we know that you're real. And man don't want to see you in them footages or that. What do you say to them fans?
No, obviously, like I said, innit? Anything to do with snitching, yeah, man ain't got a co-sign that I condone it. Never. You know what I'm gonna say to you? So, like I said, if there's evidence that shows something, man's gonna boycott it straight away, you get me? Standard. You know what I'm saying to you? But with, say for instance, a man got mashed up on the road or something, and he wants to do a collab with man. Why am I going to do a tune with him? Why he got mashed up? He was on the road, he got mashed up. Does that mean, right, I shouldn't do a tune with him because he went through a road situation? You get me? Like, obviously, it's what happens after, innit?
Yeah.
You get mashed up if you whatever you do after or whatever the thing is, you get me? But to the fans, like, obviously, like I said, in the snitching thing, that's a line in it, there, innit? If that's that, then obviously it's not gonna happen. But if you've just gone through certain situations on the road, then obviously you see man with in a picture or a tune with a man, obviously we're just patterning for the music, innit? You get me?
Yeah.
Not everyone's man's brethren, we're just doing the music tune, you get me? But to other fans, don't worry, man. Everything's alright, man. Everything's patterned.
Okay, let's get into Mozart rapper, Fredo. Man like Rapman put Mozart on the map, obviously. But Fredo's holding the torch right now. Tracks dropped, Adam's Family. Obviously big fire like always. That's gone now. What we want to know, what's going on with you and him since then? Any talk of a next tune that we can get a visual with?
Yeah, Fred, obviously that's little bro, and obviously the thing's deeper than the music thing, like, you get me? So we patterned whatever we need to pattern from the road, you get me? Obviously we got music, we got other music, innit? It's not just Adam's Family we did, innit? We got other things in the pipe.
Yeah.
Never know visuals, you get me? But there's bare complications with certain things, you get me? So
Yeah.
you never know still.
Okay, let's get on to another foundation grime star out here, Gets. He's made it clear in an interview he wants a track with RA. The fans have made it clear in the comments they want the track. Where is the track?
Well, the track, there ain't no track in it. I said, where is the track? The track ain't been made, innit? Obviously.
Why ain't we getting that?
Well, obviously, like we could pattern all day with Gets, you get me? Gets has got bars, you get me? All day, so he said he'll pattern a tune. I'll say we'll pattern a tune. So obviously once the dot just gets connected, that will make the tune, innit? It's not an issue. There's no issue like that. Just ain't been, obviously his schedule's hectic. My schedule's been hectic, innit? Well, when it happens, yeah, definitely, why not?
Okay. Let's get into another foundation rapper grime star, who spent a lot of his time in a jail cell and he's still sitting in there now. Crazy Titch. Obviously people mention both of you in the same breath. They class both of you as legendary. Some say he was the best, some say you was the best. What's your connection with him? Did you and him ever meet? And what do you think of him as a star?
Yeah, Titch, me and Titch are calm. Like, man, know Titch differently, you get me? That's what I'm trying to say, like, before music and that. Not even, I want to say before music, but like, road life, innit? You got to say to you. Like, man, know him differently, innit? Like, really differently, so. I know Titch differently, innit? So, obviously, from his side of the world, he's doing his thing, innit? I'm over my side of the world and doing my thing, innit? So, yeah, we know Titch, man. Titch is good, man. So, obviously, he's a legend in his eyes as well, innit? And in his place, you get me? I'm a legend in my eyes and in my place. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get back to a situation that happened years ago. Obviously, we can't do a official, I'd say, interview with RA without bringing up this situation. Because the fans want closure.
Go on, mate. Go on.
Obviously, young Tef. Back in the day, you and him had a situation. The way it was seen was that obviously he said something, you give him a slap, it's a done deal. Let's not no one get it twisted. Like back then, RA could give Bag a man a slap and they wouldn't do nothing. In fact, I heard there was someone else who you tried to talk dirty and young Tef was only too willing to do something with that Donny because obviously he's not RA. The same situation, the same night. Maybe you don't remember, big man, but I do. But anyway, that shows you that Tef ain't no joke. But anyway, years have gone by, people keep talking on it. So they want to know, where do you two stand right now? Because obviously I heard from the grapevine that you two've seen each other since you came out of jail. What's the truth to that and where do you stand?
Yeah, man, I've seen man since I come out. Everything's cool, innit? Like, obviously that was all longer than 10 years back, you get me? Like, but it's normal, innit? We're in a situation then, to be honest, and it's not a situation now, innit?
Okay. Let's get on to the convos. They're getting views up there. We're on number 4 now. Obviously, we want to know, where does the convo end? Is there going to be a fight? Is there more to that storyline?
Yeah, with the convo, obviously, wherever it can be taken, we'll take it, you get me?
Yeah.
We just run with it like how it is, innit? But obviously, we can pattern it. Like, man can pattern it, because I pattern everything myself, you get me?
Yeah.
So, how the 3 ends, I can pattern it so there's a 4. How
Yeah.
the 4 ends, I can pattern it so there's a 5. So, however, whatever we need to do in the situation that we're in, when things be released, then we'll work with that, innit? So, if it means that we need to do a 5 to get somewhere else, or people want to, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, man can pattern it all day, and the combo's there, and it's man's thing, innit?
Yeah.
I can play with it all day, bro, you get me?
Okay.
If I don't want to, you get me?
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Gyro's story, Convo 3 and 4. You and Rapman are getting on real nice. What's going on with that though? What else are we going to see from you two?
Rapman, obviously, Rapman's growing in good people, you get me? So, anything's possible, you get me?
Yeah.
Anything's possible. He's doing big things right now. But anything's possible, definitely.
Okay. Obviously, let's talk Cadet. Rest in peace. Obviously, we're all watching your Insta up there. You put a little something. You said, obviously, you and him was in the studio. You was patterning part 4. Obviously, he's not on part 4. Why did you take him off? What would you like to tell us on that?
Obviously, Cadet and Raheem, or rest in peace, you get me? Yeah, like obviously we was in the studio, we patterned Convo 4, it was a madness, you get me? Like he shut it down as well. Boom, obviously I took him off because it's deeper than rap, you get me? Religiously reasons, you get me? Like it's peak, you get me? And we'll do more wrong for him than God. Man kind of pushing his music out there when he's gone, you get me? Obviously, people who know, they know that I'm not going to start lecturing, you get me? But we'll do more wrong than God still. In our religion, because he was Muslim as well, you get me?
Yeah.
So, instead of me like trying to gain flipping the gas, like you get me? Like I got Cadet on my thing and still trying to push his thing just to get gas. It's big,
Yeah.
you get me? So I took it off for official reasons still, you get me?
Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace, you get me?
Okay, so just to finish up on Cadet, obviously for those who don't know, you have worked together before, because obviously you've done a skit on his mixtape. Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, obviously, like, Cadet knew the bros and that, like, as well, you get me? So, that way, even, like, nothing hard, he just kind of just said, well, obviously, if you had to do this thing in it, obviously, I want you to pattern a skit for me for my EP, so, it was just a done deal, I didn't even think twice, like, yeah, of course, send that over, you get me? No problem, you get me?
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Let me ask you about Stinks. Obviously, he was one of the best rappers when he was out here before he started doing a big bid in jail. Obviously, you both out at the same time. People have seen a connection. Obviously, we saw a track coming for you two on your Instagram. We know you talk. People want to know, how did this happen? Because for some reason, some people think you two had some sort of problem.
Me and Stinks have never had. It's not trying to say the road is full of shit, but they just chat nonsense and chat what they don't know. This is the road for you, innit? You get me? Me and Stinks have never had an issue, you get me? We're from the bricks, deep in the bricks, you get me? And the man them all grew up, obviously, we come from different estates, but we know each other, innit? So it's not rocket science, innit? How we gonna, you understand? But we never had an issue, you get me? So, that's like pattern, innit? 3 Stinks.
Yeah, so with regards what we saw on your Insta, the track, what is going on with that?
That track's gonna come out on my mixtape, you get me?
Yeah.
So obviously, it's his song though, you get me?
Yeah.
It's his tune, his song, but obviously because he's up top.
Yeah.
You get me? But I'm gonna put that on my mixtape, you get me? So that's bro.
Yeah.
Stinks 100 times, you get me?
Yeah.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Hey Matt, first track you done was The Felon. You had a big Donny in there called The Firm. He was in your next track with Lems, Birmingham rapper, big him up. Since then, man ain't seeing nothing from The Firm. What's going on with that, big man?
You don't know the Firm's not my dog, you know, you get me? The Firm's my personal security, you know, he's a bad, you get me?
But I see next Donny standing behind you in videos like there's security now, rude boy. What's going on with The Firm? He's upset.
Firm's part of the squad, isn't it? Obviously, you can't just have one security, you get me? So Firm's definitely part of the squad. Come and think about it, I see him today, but
Yeah?
I see him today, man, and the other day as well.
Because he's upset, man. 4 combos now, he ain't in none of them, big man.
Yeah, the Firm's been busy, innit? He's been busy, so...
He's talking about he's going to come down and do his interview. What you say to that?
Yeah, that'll be an official interview, because he's seen a lot, man. Firm's seen a lot, you get me?
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Let's get on to before RA went to prison. Peckham, Brixton is peak. There's no love. RA's here, Giggs is over there. Obviously, the game's shocked when all of a sudden we've got Pistol and the both of you are on it. Like, you've got both sides to that story. Some people will say, you know what, that's a good look. Big men thing. They've grown up, they've moved on, they can show the young youths, listen, allow all the streets, allow all the death, allow all the gangs, just get on with your life and be decent. Then you've got the other side that will say straight up and down, fuck that. I don't want to see no RA with Giggs, I don't want to see no Giggs with RA. People lost their lives and their freedom to that Peckham and Brixton beef. How the hell were them two in a track together? What would you say to that?
To man, I don't give a F what a man's got to say, to be honest, or how they feel. I don't give two shits what a man's got to say, like F that. But they weren't on the field with me. You get me? Just sitting behind your computer chatting shit. Or, you get me? But with that situation, obviously Giggs, he's like doing his thing in the rap thing, you get me? I'll come out, I'm doing my thing. Obviously, he's supporting the thing, man supporting his thing. It's what it is, isn't it? Two borough generals, you know what I'm trying to say to you? So it came through, it had to be done, innit? Like, and the thing about it is people don't know the history, you get me? Everyone talks like they know how many man is dropped out, how many man is in jail. Like, everyone talks like they don't know the shit, you get me? If you know the history, then you know what's happened, then you know how this could have happened, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How this tune could have come about, if you really know the history. But people just sit and chat, I don't give a shit what I'm gonna say, man.
Okay, let's get on to when you made the tune. Obviously, you're both in the studio. What was the settings like in there with both of you in there?
No, it was vibe. It was not about vibe. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Just bare vibe. Man was high. Man was chilling. Bare vibe. You get me? Like, it wasn't even like no awkward shit. You get me? Like, so yeah, man. Shout out Giggs, man.
Okay, well, let's get on to the track itself. Giggs and RA is not an industry track. No matter what anyone says, the roads are the tracks that you do that for. The both of you were known as road rappers. The roads want to see fire from both of you. Obviously, we want a part 2 because the roads are saying Giggs never gave that fire. Obviously, he's where he is now and big up to him, he made his way. But the roads are what an RA and Giggs track's all about. And right about now, we never got that fire that he used to give to Fen Felon. He used to give to Blade Brown, that he gave to Temp Man.
These new rappers just rap good. They ain't never seen a Mac cook. I came home from that jailhouse and had a bag of duns on their back foot.
The roads want real fire from the pair of you. What do you say to that?
Obviously, you can say that the tune's dead though, really.
Because the fire you give is all the way.
Yeah, but
every
you can say
track.
that the tune's dead.
Big man, I'm going to be real with you. A bag of man's told me they was unhappy on both sides. They told me make sure you ask RA about that and make sure you ask Giggs about that because we're not happy with what fire he gave.
I want to speak to them people as well.
I'm going to bring them to you, big man. Hell yeah.
As well, we have a word. But obviously, man can't say the tune's shit. The tune, you get me? The tune's a banger, but you get me? For man saying how Giggs done his verse, that's how he does his verse, isn't it? That's how he's feeling at that time. This is what he wants to spit about, so he's spitting what he spit about, innit? Like, we can't say about what he gave to Blade, what he gave to Fem, because obviously man's in a different place than time. You get me? I'm hungry still, you get me? Man's out there, you get me? So obviously I'm just always gonna just give it straight hungry, you get me? But obviously my man's in a different position now, innit? So he can spit how he wants, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if I was in that position, if I'm in a better position than now, then I'm gonna spit about different things as well. I might even just change it up a bit as well, you get me? Still be ours, but I might just change it up, innit? Because I'm spitting how I want to spit at this time.
Yeah.
So for people saying, well, my man's verse, I don't know that. Obviously, that's how he wanted to spit at that time. And that's what he did, innit? Like, still fire, I reckon, but you get me?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I hear that. But I'd ask you, no matter how far you go, do you not always owe something to them day one fans? The ones that love the raw,
yeah,
the raw RA, the raw gigs.
That's what I'm here, bro.
Exactly.
That's what we're here doing an interview. They wanted it, they screamed for it, I'm here. That's why I'm giving them fire after fire.
So I'd ask that question to Giggs if I ever stand in front of him. Doesn't he feel he owes something to them day one raw, dirty road fans that are sitting in them blocks, and when they hear that RA and Giggs is on a track, they're pressing that play button, expecting raw fire.
Yeah, but it was raw fire. It's just obviously there's a minority of people that's gonna say it wasn't raw. But it was raw fire. It was a raw beat, raw fire all day in it. But like the way you're dropping it is like there could never be another track.
There needs to be another track.
Obviously, that anything's possible. Something that's I could do another thing, and it might gravitate to the people that stuck in 2003. In 2004, it might gravitate to them. You get me?
The
so
2003 fans want a road classic.
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like this was a classic because this to happen was legendary, bro. You get me? No one ever thought that could happen. So for me and Donny to be in the studio together, and for me and Donny to even be in a Ross Clark video together with him, his goons, me and my goons, and everything's calm. That's legendary, bro. The role should be thankful, bro. The role shouldn't even be talking no shit about nothing. They should be thankful, bro. You get me? Because this shit don't happen every day, bro.
Still got the 4-4 stashed on the block. My bros in the pen upset with a block car. Man took wreck like the head on a mop phone red. We'll bring back the head of an ox. This bulldog will blow the head off an ox.
There's another star from Peckham, Tiny Boost. Obviously, he's sat in a jail cell for a long time as well. He's come out. You two's patterned up with RM and done a banger for the roads. How did that work out? How did you and him connect?
Obviously, Bruce is calm, you get me? Obviously, this is it, we're out here, innit? You get me? RM, I know RM from, obviously he's from up Birmingham, you get me? Obviously, when we spoke, me and RM spoke, obviously he done the Mazzolina, the first one. He's like, obviously I'm doing the remix, we were mad to kind of jump on. Obviously, I got Boost there as well, very. Like, you too cool, I'm saying? Yeah, obviously me and Boost is calm, man, you get me? It's calm.
Them man that's talking lyrics, talk about ours, I live it. Behind the bars, I read it.
Me and Boost never had no issue, you get me?
Yeah.
So, obviously, we patterned. We spoke before and that as well. It's nothing, you get me? So we just patterned that. Made it a banger. It's a banger.
Okay. So let's go over to Peckham again now. Obviously, you've done a tune with Giggs. You've done a tune with Tiny Boost, two of the hardest. Obviously, everyone wants the hat trick now.
Yeah,
one of the hardest bitters to come out of Peckham in a lot of people's eyes is Snap Capone. A lot of people put the comments in your videos that you need you two on some fire. What's your connection with him regards music? Is there any way that can come?
Yeah, that can pattern all day. Why not? You get me? We'll see. Bro, soon touch.
Have you two connected in any way? You know what's good?
I'm like, kinda, you get me?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's on the tables and we can do that all day. That's
yeah.
Light work.
So they can get that, the real fire. Okay. Let's get into you now. What makes you happy? What makes you happy in the music game right now? After, like I say, you've lost a lot of time, you're building back. What's making you happy when you're putting these tracks out?
Obviously, when it gets streamed, innit? And obviously you see money from it, innit? That's what can really make you happy, man.
Yeah.
You get me? Like, man's not doing this for fun.
Yeah.
That big greed, man want to get bread out of it, you get me? And keep it moving, innit? So that's what kind of makes man happy, innit? When man's shit gets streamed and we see paper from it.
Yeah. Okay, is there anybody who hasn't connected with RA here or internationally that you want to put on a track? Is there anyone you say, you know what, I need a track with that person?
No, but you see what it is over here, all these rappers, they're just bitch niggas, but the majority of them, you get me?
Yeah.
They forget where they come from. It's long, man. It's the way you see what goes on now. Man, forget that they came from the mud, get a little paper and they turn into that, forget who they are, you get me? So over here is what it is, and whatever comes, in it. I mean, you ain't running it down, you feel me? But over South, obviously, of course, there's man that man will work with, innit? Like, man who's really doing it out there, like in the States, you get me? We'll work with them all day, you get me? But there's no one like, yo, I've been lying down in my bed thinking of that, you get me? Man, you get me? So there's no one like that, but we'll pattern with whoever needs
Yeah.
to pattern, you get me?
Okay, so is there anybody you've done anything with that we don't know about yet? Tracks that are sitting there waiting to come out?
Yeah, there's beer tracks.
Yeah, you're going to give us some of them names?
Nah, but there's beer tracks. There's beer tracks with man that ain't, that people don't know. And people be surprised as well. Wow, you get me? But,
Yeah.
It is what it is, isn't it? If it floats, it floats. If it don't, it don't. You get me?
Okay, let's get on to when you were sitting it out and the real fans that have followed you from day one. Obviously, any little thing they saw from RA, they promoted it. They shouted out free RA. They let everyone know that he's the hardest regardless. They never stopped until the day you reached the door. What do you say to those real fans, the ones that really know what you've done and really appreciate it?
Yeah, nothing but love to them, man. You get me? Because you stuck it out, you held it forward, man. And you're here now, still with me on my journey, you get me? And it's only going to grow. And it's only going to get better, you get me? So, nothing but love to them, fans, still.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the cap you're wearing on your head. It says Jim Brown.
Yeah.
From what I heard, there's a mixtape coming out real soon from RA called Jim Brown. Where's the name come from? What's Jim Brown mean to you?
Obviously, Jim Brown, if people don't know, obviously they probably know DARDEST from Jamaica, you get me? Obviously, Jim Brown's DARDEST, his father, you get me? So he was the original big man of this team, you get me? So obviously, that's who Jim Brown is. I wanted to call my mixtape Jim Brown because I feel like he struggled, I went through, you get me? He was a general for his ends and gave back to his community. I was a general for my ends and I gave back to my community. Feel me? So I felt like his whole life story kind of patterns with mine, minus the death, you get me? So I feel like, yeah, Jim Brown, obviously, and I know the full history in it. I got people in here, my family's in here, so we know, you get me? Close to where Donny's from, so we know the full history in it. So I feel like enough people, they might name their mixtape flipping Al Pacino or something, you get me? Or name something called some Colombian mafia or some Italian mafia. Like, I ain't never been Italy. I don't know no Italy mafias. I don't know no Colombian mafias. You understand me? So my thing, I pattern like from a real background, real Jamaican gangster. I know his history. He was an official general, so I feel like that's more closer to home, innit? Yeah. That's my culture, innit? That's my background. So Jim Brown to the world, soon touches some Mazin. You get me? Be on my tracks on there, peak, you know me? Tell the streets over.
So obviously, this is your first ever solo project. The fans have been waiting for this. Years. They've been wanting this fire. How many tracks are you going to be giving us on this one?
About 15.
Yeah?
15, you get me? But like, obviously, it's mine and Macau. You get like 15. And then obviously, man's gonna have more things in the pipeline straight away, you get me?
Yeah.
So it's not as if you're gonna sit on this Jim Brown thing, 15 tracks for 2 years, you get me? I'm gonna be pelting you with music, you get me? So we soon turn it up, though. We soon turn up still.
Yeah, and who's on there with you? Give us some names that are on this.
On Jim Brown?
Yeah.
I got, obviously, Stinks is on there, Fred's on there, Gigs on there, FOOTSTEP on there. What else? Yeah, so yeah. And then the rest is just man going ham, you get me? Like I said, for the die-hard fans, it's me going nuts on it, you get me? So.
Okay, well obviously you've made talk there about it's coming soon, but the fans don't want to hear that. I've seen the comments on your Insta, they want that dropping now.
Yeah,
so what's this date? Give us this date.
There's complications in it with certain little things, you get me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pattern, so when it does come out, you don't kind of mess up, you get me? So that's why it's kind of taking a certain time, but we're trying to get it right, you get me?
Yeah.
But it's definitely coming. Can't give you a date right now, but it's definitely coming still. So this obviously, man, let's be patient, innit? Because between that time there, I'm still going to be giving you music, you get me?
Yeah.
So let's be patient. Things soon land.
Okay. So obviously, for those of us that don't know, where are you putting it? Where are we going to be able to get that when it drops?
All digital platforms, man. Everywhere, you get me? for the gel man them and Gemma Records, you get me? The man that can get in the can. So we're gonna push it everywhere, man. It's gonna be all over.
Yeah, and what about for the old school fans? You know, the ones that still want that CD for the car and that. You got some of that for them?
No, but obviously you can definitely just for them old school man, they can just burn it on a blank, innit? Slap that in there, whip you again.
Okay, so the last thing I want to ask RA, obviously somewhere in some block, some estate, some young boy wants to be RA. He's going out there and he wants to be you. What advice, after all you've seen in your life through being who you are, would you give to that young you?
You don't want to be me. Forget all of that. You get me? Don't be me, bro. Be yourself. Like my life's not influence on no one. You get me? Because the pressure that I went through, nothing I would have burst a long time. You get me? So definitely don't follow me, bro. Definitely 100. Obviously, tell the youth to just go down the positive route. You get me? There's only two ways out: the jailhouse or the graveyard. You get me? And no one wants none of them. You get me? So for the young blocks, just be easy. You get me? A lot of badness, but trust me, bro.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
So is there anything that we haven't covered in this interview you feel we need to know?
It's up to you, bro. You get me? You're the man, innit? You get me? Obviously, like, flipping, you're the one with all the questions that everyone runs from, innit?
That's what I mean.
I'm here, but what you got?
Well, I've covered everything, so we're nice.
Yeah, I'm good then as well. Like, obviously, big up to you for the interview. You get me? How the thing said, the Hardest TV. You get me? This is it, bro. We're coming for them. You get me? You can see.
So obviously, big up to RA, the hardest regardless. It's been a pleasure. Man, don't never forget. You know this, and you'll see this forever. You get me? Big up to all the little youths out there that are doing real. Don't watch no one, because enough man like to make themselves look like something they're not. Be yourself, look after your family. Until the next one.